very much for joining me this morning. This is AMs with Annette, your UK business and coronavirus update, weekdays at 11 a.m. UK. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me today, whichever platform you are on. We are currently live on TikTok, Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and of course, inside the Uncover Wealth community, my private Facebook group for business owners as well. So thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Annette Ferguson. I am CEO of Annette & Co, a UK-based accounting firm. I'm a chartered accountant and certified profit first professional, and I help business owners take home more money from their business for them and their families to enjoy. Of course, at this point in time, that is incredibly challenging for many, many businesses. And that is why I decided to start AMs with Annette weekdays at 11 a.m. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. What we'll be covering today is all things around governments, the banks, the economy, that side of things when it comes to UK business. What I am not covering is anything to do with health or politics. So just so you know, that is what is covered in this session. So thank you for tuning in, Harry. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, everyone who is hopping on and saying hello. I do very much appreciate it. What else have we got? We've got Louise, we've got Wookie, we've got Dooley. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it very much. This is your UK business and coronavirus update. So the first thing I want to share is that there are now 8.7 million people in the UK on furlough. There's 8.7 million people that are being paid their wages from the job retention scheme, the furlough scheme. That number, of course, keeps going up all the time. When the furlough scheme was introduced, at the very, very beginning, there were talks of the expectation of around 9 million people being put onto furlough. We are, of course, getting closer and closer to that number. That number has increased again in the last couple of weeks to 8.7 million people. There are also 2.5 million people who have claimed under the self-employed scheme. The self-employed scheme introduced for those who were self-employed to support their income. Of course, the self-employed scheme works a little bit differently to the furlough scheme, but under the self-employed scheme, you had to declare that your business had suffered a loss as a result of coronavirus as well. So that gives us an indication, under the eligibility criteria of how many businesses and self-employed businesses rather are being affected by that. We're also hearing that over 700,000 businesses have been awarded Bounceback Loans, and Bounceback Loans that have been paid out total around £21 billion. Of course, I mentioned yesterday that the expectation is 40 to 50% of bounce back loans may end up defaulting. So that is a huge number. If we are looking at 40 to 50% of that 21 billion in default in a few months or years' time, then of course we have a big, big problem for the government who has underwritten these loans. Of course, it's important to remember that in the event of default, the first person that the bank comes after is the company that's taken out the loan. You're not absolved of paying that back. So the first recourse is against the company who has the loan taken out. Important to remember that if you are one of those people that has taken a bounce back loan. So thank you everyone who's tuning in. Thank you for the hellos. Thank you for the likes, the loves, the shares, the hearts, the thumbs up, whichever platform you're on and whichever method it is that is on that platform. I appreciate it very much. So thank you so much. Charlotte, yes, Charlotte, I am married. Lovely. Okay, great. So any questions or queries that you have around this, please do let me know in the comments. Please let me know that if you have anything that you're not sure of that I've mentioned, any questions that you want to ask around UK business and coronavirus updates, do let me know in the comments. Hey, Jason. Hey, Sally Ali. Thank you for tuning in. Hello, Utam. Thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate it very, very much. So thank you for tuning in. HMRC has warned that it will impose penalties on directors who deliberately flout the rules of the government's furlough scheme. In legislation that has been drafted, the government outlines plans to recover payments under the coronavirus support schemes, which the claimant was not entitled to. They are saying that they will have the ability to charge penalties in the case of deliberate non-compliance. And they have also said that they will hold directors jointly and severally liable for any false or fictitious claims that have been made as well. So the excuse that another director did this is not going to stand when it comes to the government reclaiming money and issuing penalties off the back of furlough fraud. So that is something important to note for many businesses as well. Of course, we've heard a lot about furlough fraud. I have had a lot of people contact me and tell me that their employers are making them work still. That is furlough fraud as it stands at the moment. We are not in flexible furlough yet. So if your employer is making you work, or if you are an employer making your employees work who are furloughed, that is illegal. That is furlough fraud. Hotels, pubs and restaurants are preparing their reopening plans, of course, with social distancing measures in place. I've spoken a lot about how this is going to be difficult for many businesses. Social distancing means they will be able to serve less people at any one point in time. There's also the increased costs associated with putting measures in place to protect both their workforce, their employees, and of course their clients and customers as well at the same time. A double whammy for many businesses, and one that must leave businesses asking, is it even worth opening up, or actually are they losing less money by staying closed? It's an important thing to be thinking about if you are a business as well. The hotels, pubs and restaurant industry, though, that I was just talking about, that is worth £130 billion and employs around 3.2 million workers in the UK. So there are worries that delaying opening to those places will cost around 2 million jobs. However, we have to look and say, well, if we're opening under social distancing, they'll be able to serve less people, and therefore, anyway, it will cost jobs, because they won't need as many staff operating if they are operating under social distancing. They are serving less people. So that is the situation that we are currently in. Any questions or queries, do let me know in the comments. Good morning, Wendy. It's lovely to see you again. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Girls Gotta Eat. Good morning, Charlotte. Good morning, Leon. Good morning, Paula. Good morning, everybody who is tuning in. Good morning, George. Good morning, Chloe. Thank you for tuning in with me this morning. Lovely. Okay, great. So we're also hearing that just over half of Sybil's loans have been approved. So not a good number there in terms of Sybil's loans. Very different from the Bounceback Loans situation, of course. Bounceback Loans 100% underwritten by government, which means that the banks did not need to do any of their standard credit and affordability checks on the loans, whereas the Sybil's loans, under a very different model, 80% underwritten by the government, which means that the banks, of course, have to perform their standard credit checks when it comes to affordability and when it comes to looking to see whether businesses may be able to repay this. Now, it's interesting that around half Sybil's loans have been approved, but also around 50% of Bounceback loans are expected to be in default. There's a link there, as we can see, because if the Bounceback loans were offered under normal credit lending terms, we're being told that many, up to 50% would not have been approved, and that is what we're seeing is the case with the Sybil's loans. So the figures kind of tying into each other there as well. The Institute of Directors is proposing a student loan type loan to aid businesses, and in particular small businesses. It recommends small companies should be able to convert the government-backed loans, so the Bounceback loans or the Sybil's loans, into loans with repayments kicking in once the business makes a profit. This is not such a silly idea. It makes a lot of sense. Of course, we have the problem that some businesses were barely profitable before, and therefore, should we actually be having to support those businesses going forward as taxpayers, which would be what the situation would be with this. We would also possibly see a situation where directors' salaries are hiked up in order to make sure the business makes no profit and no loan repayment kicks in. So we'd have to watch if we did get that kind of situation. There would be potentially some issues there as well. No system is perfect. And although that sounds like it might be not too bad a plan, there would have to be some safeguards put in place as well with that system, should that come in. Okay, let me see if we've got any questions on this, any queries. This is your UK business and coronavirus update. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the hearts. All the thumbs ups, all those lovely things. I very, very much appreciate it. Thank you for the follows. For those of you who have started following me as a result of watching my live streams as well, I do again appreciate it very much. Price deflation has reached its fastest in 14 years last month, with shop prices falling at a rate of 2.4% in May from 1.7% decline in April. Non-food fell by 4.6% last month compared to 3.7% in the previous month as well. The British Retail Consortium CEO Helen Dixon is saying that retailers face an uphill battle compounded by rising costs. So what I was saying in relation to the hotels, pubs and restaurants, of course, applies in retail. We have reduced footfall. We have not as many people able to get into shops at any point in time once that opens up. We have people who are purchasing online, but perhaps for some shops not in the same volume. And then we have increased costs of the measures that need to be put in place to safeguard staff and safeguard the employees and the clients and customers as well. So big issues there for retailers as well as the hospitality industry too. The Chancellor is said to be considering plans for a national insurance holiday for employers as part of an economic recovery stimulus plan. So it's suggested that if employers' national insurance is slashed or dropped temporarily, then that could potentially save thousands of jobs. So the Chancellor is said to be considering this. Of course, I spoke yesterday about the potential for some kind of mini budget round about July. So we would imagine that potentially this type of thing might be announced in a mini budget as well. So one to watch out for there. As I say, this is not set in stone. That is something that is said to be being considered at the moment. So that is where we are with that one. UK households sharply cut back on borrowing and repaid loans at a record rate in April, according to the Bank of England figures. This is incredibly interesting. I was incredibly interested when I read this because, of course, we heard that 1.7, I think it is, million people have got mortgage payment holidays. We heard about, again, over 1 million people having personal loan repayment holidays, credit card repayment holidays, but we are also hearing that the other end of the scale, that we have record repayment of loans happening as well. Of course, during this time, some people will be better off. If you have the same amount of income coming in, but you are spending less, then you are going to have more money in your bank account. So then there was a net 7.4 billion of consumer debt that was repaid in April. That is quite significant. So it's very, very good to hear that actually there is some consumer debt being repaid, and that is, incredibly positive for both those households and economically as well. Lenders are advising that they will not accept CBILS or Bounceback Loans as deposits for property purchases. So I did hear of a few people who are wanting to basically take out these loans, use it as a deposit on a property, and then end up with a property with a deposit paid for as a loan. So that has been explicitly now. Lenders have come out and basically said, that's not going to work. I'm just going to block somebody here on who is being rude. So give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, lovely. I think that's it done. Yeah. Block. Confirm. There we go. Okay. Apologies about that. That was very distracting, and yeah, we don't want to feed the trolls, basically. So yeah, any questions you have about UK business and coronavirus, do let me know in the comments. As I say, I am happy to answer any of those. So do let me know. I'm going to take a drink of my tea, but do let me know anything that you have in the comments that you would like answered. Also, whilst anyone is doing that, to share with you that these sessions are live weekdays at 11 a.m. It is AMs with Annette, and it is currently covering off UK business and coronavirus updates for AMs with Annette weekdays at 11. So make sure you pop that into your calendar, into your diary. Also, tomorrow I am hosting another session of strategic chats. This is my live Q&A where you can come on and you can ask me any questions about your business, about the strategy, about the finances side, whatever that may be. You are able to ask me those questions, no problems at all. That session is held on Zoom but streamed onto social media. So I invite you onto Zoom to join me. Then we can actually chat about your business rather than typing. To register and receive the link, you just need to go to annetteandco.co.uk/strategic chats. The link is also in the description to my bio if you're watching on TikTok or Instagram as well. So make sure you head there and register for strategic chats so that you get the Zoom link so that you can hop on and ask any questions that you may have. Also, if you want to just watch that, then you are welcome to do that. Of course, we are streaming out to all platforms for strategic chats as well. And if you are extra shy, you don't want to actually come on and ask me the question, face to face over voice, then you can ask the questions in the comments. But it's always much easier if you do hop on the Zoom session, because that way I can ask you any follow-up questions, get any clarifications that I need in order to help you and support you the most. So that is 3 p.m. on Thursdays, strategic chats, annetteandco.co.uk/strategic chats to register. And then you'll get the Zoom link so that you can hop on, as I say, and ask any questions that you may have about your business specifically. As I say, that is then streamed onto social media. So if you want to just tune in and listen and watch, then you are welcome to do that as well. And I would love to see you there. So any questions coming through about UK business and coronavirus? I can't see any that have come through on any of our platforms. Let's just double check this one. No, I think we're all good. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time as always. I know it's incredibly precious. So thank you for spending some of it with me. I hope that you have got value from doing that. Do make sure that you note in your diaries 11 a.m. tomorrow and also 3 p.m. tomorrow for strategic chats. I hope to see you on both. If you are also not a member of the Uncover Wealth community and you are a business owner, I invite you to join me there. That is my private Facebook group for business owners. So please do come over to Facebook and search Uncover Wealth Community into the search bar, and you will find us and be able to join the Uncover Wealth community. There are exclusive trainings in there that I only do for that group. So you can come in there and check those out. So thank you once again, everyone, for tuning in. I will see you all again tomorrow, 11 a.m. Take care, everyone.